How is everyone doing tonight? We'll wait just a few minutes, let a few more folks join. Make sure you sound off as you're joining, so I'll see you that you're here. Get my phone muted over here. Hey, what's happening, 427 Walrus? Been watching your channel, man. I love that coupe. Oh, not much. House 308. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us. Yo, Walrus, man, I love those wheels, and I just love the story on that car. I've got to watch your latest video that you just put out. I got to check that out. But yeah, enjoying that video, man. Headed to the dyno. What do you hope to get? Want to get a dyno tune on it? What's up, Stephen Miller from Kansas City, Mr. Bullet himself in the house. Hey, Sean, appreciate you coming and hanging out, my man. So, Sean, did I have good clickbait tonight? Hey, Juan, appreciate you coming and hanging out. Yo, yo. So 427, what area of the country are you in? I don't remember. Hey, David. Jim Davis, welcome. What's happening, stupid fast truck? He was first today. If you guys missed that on the comments on the video that I uploaded today. Yeah, you have to do a little bit of clickbait. I almost hate to do that, but I'm not lying. But you almost have to get a little clickbait to get folks to come hang out, right? To watch your videos, and then hopefully your stuff is good enough to keep them there once they get there, right? Man, that Steeda stuff you're doing, G-Funk, man, I'm pretty excited about everything you're doing on that car. That car's gonna be pretty sweet. You like Steeda stuff. I always like Steeda stuff too, man. There was a Steeda car at Midwest Fox Fest 2 years ago that was pretty sweet. It was very custom. So I do have a pretty good topic for you guys tonight, and I'm going to want your help with it because Tim Allen's car. Hang on. So Steve said, if I remember, Tim Allen's car had the third headlight front end. Yeah, had the yes, it did. That Celine that had the T-Bird front end. That was the same type front end. I thought about that of that body kit that we found on that when we were unloading those storage bins. Yeah. So one talk. So of course we'll talk just a little bit about the storage bin find and all that we did last weekend. But what I would like to talk a little bit about tonight is I need your guys' help, and the main topic is I think a great video that would help a lot of folks, but also would just be some great viewing would be a differences between 87 to 93 cars. And guys, what started all this for me was actually the trim bezels, because I knew there was some minor differences on the HVAC on your trim bezels, but I didn't know 100% sure what the main differences were till I went and looked. Because I mean, I didn't have a 87 to 89 car sitting here in the garage with me. All I could base all of my work on was my 91. So I went out actually to a local, he's a sub that we've connected with and since became friends. I don't know if he's going to get on here tonight, but went and looked at his car and realized, some of the differences. But guys, I'm going to tell you, when you really start breaking it down, there are tons of differences on all of your 87 to 93 cars. And I think it'd be a great video, and that'd be some things we can kind of talk about here tonight too. And I'm sure there's some stuff that you guys probably know that I don't know that are some differences from 87 and 93 cars. Just for example, like the HVAC is different, but also the dash itself is different. Of course, we think about your differences with your gauge cluster, and like in 89 when they actually had part of the year that had 140-mile-an-hour gauge clusters. When they were switching over from the 85-mile-an-hour gauge clusters for 50 cars. Think about some of your safety standards that changed. I think after 89 that required Ford to also change the rear hatch plastics so they could accept the shoulder seat belt. That, of course, the fenders on the front and the ground effects on your 91 to 93 car. I think it was 91 to 93. That changed. The opening changed just a little bit on the front of the car. Of course, Stephen, that's another good one. It was airbag versus non-airbag. The front wheel, yep, and then the mass air for your 87 and 88 cars versus the speed density for your 87, 88 cars versus when Ford switched over to mass air. So there is a plethora of differences on your 87 to 93 cars, and to the novice, most folks would look at all of those cars as being the same. And guys, they are not. There is so many small differences between those cars, even from year to year on some of that stuff. And even one of G's favorite subjects, which I love that video, by the way, is even like your wheel options. When they change from the turbines to the 10 from the 10 holes, the turbines, which one's got the 10 holes, which one's got the turbines, and then also when it went to the pony wheels and things like that. So stuff like that. I think that's do you guys think that would be a good video subject? Yes, 427. I remember that. I remember that was a huge point of discussion back when those cars were new. I had a 91 back in 93, and I remember when the 93s came out, everybody back then, if you were doing anything to your car, you didn't put no turbos on them back then when, not for street cars that we were running around. Folks put 50 and 75 shots and even maybe 100 shot of nitrous on them. And everybody was scared to death to put nitrous on a 93 car versus the forged pistons, because you could a lot easier blow a hole right in the top of the piston. That's a great one. I got to write. Hey, look, I got a notepad here, guys. I got to write that one down. I forgot all about that. Hey, thanks, Juan. Sprayed 150 to mine. Oh, that's a funny video. My buddy, he had an 89 convertible. It was an ALD car. We had a lot of fun. He put a nitrous on it, and I think it was 100 shot. I think it was 100 shot, if I remember correctly. It's been, gosh, many years ago. This was back in probably 92, and we were at we used to race at a little racetrack that is semi-famous, a little 8th-mile track called George Ray's in Paragould, Arkansas. We'd run over there, gosh, every Sunday, and it was $5 to race, $5 to watch, either one. And I can't tell you how many of those little cheap trophies I picked up from that track. And we'd run up down that track, but he got a wild hair and ended up drilling the nozzle out on that nitrous, and ended up probably putting a 250 shot in that car when he was running it. And of course, blew a rod right through the side of that motor. Then ended up putting a 351 in the car. Nick, welcome, Nick. So guys, if you don't know who Nick's 50 is, he is the owner of the two-tone Cobra clone. He has made it back home from Iraq, and he's got to pick up the car here recently. And so, yeah, he's got the car, and it's with him. Well, it's kind of close to him. He drove it back to the Memphis area, and it's sitting there for a little while at his mom's before he gets it on down to where he's at. So appreciate you coming and hanging out, buddy. It's 150 out of the hole back then. Got 1037 at one time. That's pretty dang quick, buddy. Nick, if you haven't watched, 427 Walrus actually has a pretty nice coupe build that's got a pretty good story behind it. I know you do a lot of YouTube watching just like I do. You should go check out his channel. Also, if you're not already watching G-Funk Express, and guys, I know most of you guys who are in here probably watch G-Funk Express, but make sure you guys go show that guy some love too. So I've got a few notes here, so if anybody can think of anything else that we're thinking about differences, if you're just joining, we're talking about differences between your 87 to 93 cars. And there's so many minor and some more major differences between your 87 to 93 cars. I think it'd be really good to kind of do a whole video on that will show folks the differences between them. Looks like we got the dogs getting wild upstairs. So you're going to pick it up next weekend, and then you'll be back in Bama soon. Yeah, that's right. Well, heck, next weekend you're going to be traveling up here for the Christmas week, right? And you're going to be here all the week between your mom's and here. So has everybody watched the video of myself and Peyton? And if you guys watched that video, you've seen on my man, that's Ryan is in the house. As a matter of fact, I mentioned you just earlier, Ryan, when we were talking about that, you gave me the idea of the differences on the 87 to 93 cars and doing a video. So that's kind of what we're talking about in here tonight. So going back to the video of the those storage buildings, gosh, man, that was, I think we cleared those things out in about 2.5 hours. And we had a lot of work, a lot of folks working there between myself and Matt and Sean, the owner and his son. The previous owner of those parts, and Peyton joined us. We had a good time that weekend. But Sean, that guy was hilarious, man. He kept things light, that's for sure. Hey, Sean, appreciate you coming out and hanging out, man. So you didn't know that Powerdyne was a Ford OEM installed supercharger. Wasn't that a dealer added option, guys? Does anybody know that for sure? I think that wasn't that I know you could do a dealer added option today that would still carry the Ford factory warranty. So Mess 53389 picked up the pony on the dash. Yes. Well, now wasn't it? I thought it was 90 on the 25th. Did they call it the 90 or was it the 89? It was the 25th anniversary was the first pony that was on there, and then it switched to just the regular one. That's a good one. Pony on the dash. Gotta make sure I don't miss these. Oh, those stupid mat pockets for the 90 cars. You are, and G-Funk, I have struggled with that, my man, because my mat pockets on my car are pristine. And they're in such good shape. I kind of want to leave them alone because it's such a low mile car that was set in a garage all of its life, so it didn't get the sun fade. But we all know what most of those mat pockets look like. That's a good one though. Yeah, because in the 87 to 89 cars, you had almost like carpet inserts above your arm rest pad, and then down there where the mat pockets are now. What was the wildest thing you found? I don't know, man, Steve. In those storage bins, I mean, I'll be honest with you. There was a lot of stuff that was a lot of accumulation of a lot of years of that guy dismantling those cars, and he parted a lot of those cars. A lot of them had been previously wrecked cars that he parted out. There was a lot of junk. I mean, no better way of saying it. Stuff that Matt's going to have to go through that will probably find its way to the trash bin. But I guess the most unique thing I found was those dang Euro tail light. It was just the one that had like the Mercedes symbol inside of them. I can't remember if I had ever seen a Euro tail light that looked exactly like that one. That was probably the craziest thing I'd seen in there. You know, we got pretty tunnel vision once we got there. It was like, hey, let's get in here and let's get it done. And it was just all hands on deck. We were putting stuff in boxes. We were putting stuff in totes and just getting it loaded up because there was just so much stuff. There's so much stuff I didn't even get to see, and I haven't been back over to Matt's because I did not unload it. And so I know Matt and his two boys that very next day, which was that last Sunday, his two boys and him got out there and unloaded it all at his shop. And I don't know how much he's had time to go through all of it yet, but it's a lot of stuff. That is for sure. I mean, I want to make sure I get caught up on him. I don't want to miss any of you guys. Oh man, I did not know I was jumping on here at the same time Neo was tonight. I would not have done a live stream if I knew Neo was on tonight. I kind of hate that. Or for one thing, he's definitely going to get a lot more views than I am. That guy's got some good stuff. Yeah, there he is, of course, live stream. He's got 51 on there. He's got a guy in there with him. Looking on my phone here. There's Neo. Hey, what's going on? Matt Kinsey, was your ears burning? So 92 and 93 sports seats lost the front leg adjustment. Absolutely, they did. That's another good one that I did not think about. The knee bolster adjustment. 92, 93 sports seats. Yep, Shane. So there you go, buddy. Not 89 to 90 and 64 and a half. Yeah, was the. Well, of course, I know 64 and a half was first year. One said 25 years, the others were just ponies. That's right, Steve. They moved the fuel pump relay from under the seat to the engine bay. That's right. That's right, because you have that little slit right under the carpet under the seat. But what year was that they moved it? Because I don't know. House. Did that change in 90? And Ryan Aidenstad is saying, did you touch on the difference in the size of the front side ground effects between the bumper and the fender? We mentioned a little bit different on where the fenders changed sizes, which the wheel opening changed. And some of these things, it's always kind of, okay, why did they do it? Like, for example, I didn't know why they changed the, Matt and I talked about this, the quarter plastics on your starting in 90. Well, evidently, if you go back and look at your hatch in the 87 to 89 cars, they were only lap belts for the rear seat passengers. Understanding, and they changed the plastics to look different when they had to make the provision for a shoulder belt due to federal regulations, safety regulations that had to have shoulder belts in the back seat. So, Neo was wrapping up. Okay, cool. Did you get it to go with the size your front end? Man, I think that thing was pretty cool. Like you mentioned that Tim Allen had that Celine that had that front end that was a special built Celine for him, and there was a lot of those running around back in the day in the 90s with that front end. Even back then, I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan of those, but that was a pretty popular mod that people were doing back then with that front end. I know. Matt's going to probably put that on one of his cars pretty quickly. You got it hung. I got hung up by all the ads. So, did anyone say the big headrest versus small headrest? Now, I'm with you on that, G-Funk. I do like the smaller headrests versus the larger headrests. As a matter of fact, in Nick's car, the two-tone Curb Clone, or what we also affectionately call the FBC, it actually has, I think, 89 seats in it because it had the red stitching, the red and blue stitching in the tweed, but somebody had actually changed the headrest out to a later model headrest, um, which actually made the vinyl not match exactly because it was titanium vinyl on the headrest and the smoke gray vinyl on the 89 seats. Not unless I pointed it out, you probably wouldn't notice it, but no. So Matt, you maybe should put it on the, Stephen, that now that would be, you've already probably got one of the, so Steve, actually, you guys, he has probably one of the coolest Fairmonts around. That guy has spent some time and a little bit of money on a Fairmont that has been built right. I mean, this thing is sweet, and you call it the Bullet Fairmont, I believe. But you would surely have the most unique Fairmont around if you put that nose on the front of it. So Raji, I'm asking for the Santa for the double din radio bezel. Well, I hope you get one, man. I hope you do. I think it may have ended in '89 to have that fuel relay because I'm pretty sure it is in because I think on my there either, and I know it wasn't. I don't think it was on 91. The change to 16-inch wheels. Yep. Now that was that 90 or 91, guys, when they rolled out the ponies? I don't remember. It's either 90 or 91. Matt says he'll make a heck of a deal on that hood and that front nose. I'm sure he will. The fuel pump relay was moved in 92. 92 fuel pump relay. What you think about it, it's kind of a stupid spot for it. Body color side moldings about 91 or 92 on your LX cars. Yeah, you are correct. That was a big change. Nick, I thought those seats were shipped. So Nick ordered some replacement seats for that car, some pretty custom seats from TMI, but I thought those things were shipped already. All the different computers. House, that's a good one. All the different versions of computers. It's kind of funny on the computers when we were at the storage buildings. I remember there was a box full of computers, and gosh, we were so busy just loading stuff up. I thought Matt kind of had a little bit of a treasure pay for this bin, who knows, and just these computers. But unfortunately, it was a bunch of older computers and probably really not going to be very desirable now. Square shock tires cover for 89 and older, and the round for, well, I know they changed it for the shoulder seat belts, G-Funk. So they maybe, I don't know why they went from square to round, but I know that's why the quarter plastics were redesigned in 90 was for the shoulder belt provision. Steve doesn't even know if it would bolt up. Well, if you put Fox body fender on it, it would probably bolt up, Steve. So 91 on the pony wheels, that's why the front fender is bigger too. The rear seat rails, it was just the seat rails. So Nick, did the seats come in and you just don't have the seat rails? I hadn't talked to you in a few days. So yeah, guys, Nick ordered some. He worked with TMI back and forth and ordered some custom, more racing style front seats that also had titanium. I'm not sure if it was vinyl or leather, and then wasn't it a suede insert, and then with the blue stitching. Oh, so you only got the rail, so no seats, just the rail. So when you thought, so okay, so Nick had told me that the seats had shipped, I don't know, maybe a week ago, and I was like, heck yeah, man, I can't wait to see them. And then it's been radio silence on the seats, and I haven't thought anything else about it. I bet you were pissed. Open that up, and you just got the seat rails. It's like, this is an awfully small box. So you got the new Fox Sports seats that LMR started selling. Juan, what do you think about those? I have not talked to anybody that got those. Did you get the gray or did you get the black? We'll wait on Juan to comment on that because I thought about those. Matter of fact, there's a guy, Matt Kinsey. There's a guy here in Steelville. It's about 3 hours from here. I know the area because I've got a servicer down there that I go visit. And I almost thought about calling him and having him go by there and get them for me. This guy's got some out of a '92 black sport seats with no rips in them for $350. And I was thinking about trying to get that lined up. It's front and rear seats, black sport seats. No rips, $350. I probably should have already jumped on that. So one, you got the new Fox Sports seats. Let's see, yep, and black. They're good, new foam. So I'm sitting higher than I'm used to. So G-Funk says that after 90, didn't the insert above the armrest got vinyl instead of fabric? Yes. It got vinyl after, I think that was the same time when the mat pockets got added. That went to vinyl, and then the mat pockets got put on there versus the carpet where the mat pockets are and above the armrest. No, Steelville. It's down in it's in Missouri. Gosh, it's kind of like going over towards St. Louis, and then about an hour before you get to St. Louis from here, you head straight south in Steelville. But yeah, $350. I messaged guy and he messaged back, but I was literally getting on here on the live stream and for $350, but I probably need to jump on them. The pictures weren't the best. They looked a little dirty, but I couldn't, he didn't take but like maybe 4 pictures, but he said there were no holes or rips in them. I think they're in one of the Fox Body forums, maybe the 87 to 93 Fox Body parts for sale. And I've got guys, I'm sure I'm probably just like all y'all. I stay on Facebook Marketplace, especially on Fox Body stuff. I'm always looking for good stuff. I have not near the problem that Matt has, though. But, I don't care if Matt has 2 storage bins worth of extra parts. He's still going to be buying stuff because we were both on a live auction of Fox Body parts before getting on here tonight. And Matt was winning bids on that. That's a pretty cool little site, though. I told Matt I could get in trouble. It's on a Facebook Live deal where a guy gets on there and does live auctions of Matt. I guess it's mostly Fox Body stuff. I mean, that's all he had on there tonight when I was on there. It was pretty cool, and of course, Matt was a I just started cracking up when I seen that Matt was a top fan. Encore Mustang Parts Warehouse. There it is. Matt's a top fan. I wonder why Matt's a top fan. So Juan, speaking of that, so you sit a little higher. I know that foam gets a little more crushed, and I think about even my car. So my car and Nick's cars both 91s, but those seats that are in the two-tone cover clone or the FBC that Nick has, that foam is so good in those seats. I remember when I drove that car, I felt like I sat just a little higher in it. Now, Nick, you drove the car for what, 5-6 hours? I guess a good 5 to 6 hours from around here all the way to the Memphis area. Were those seats pretty decent for that trip for Fox Body seats? I mean, those seats were dang near perfect. Steve, you seen what? The seats that I'm wanting to buy? See, my problem is, guys, I don't have anywhere to put anything. See, I want to buy all this stuff, but I don't have a large shop like Matt does to just put stuff in. If you guys watched my videos, my shop is packed from top to bottom. I've got stuff jammed in every nook and cranny in that shop. So, oh, did you? Oh, so you were on there too, Ryan? Oh, your Recaros are nice in that car, Steve. I love those things. He just fat. That's not the car's fault. I was actually surprised. You know, I drove my car all the way to Omaha, all the way to Jackson, Tennessee from here, and it's not uncomfortable. I mean, with the suspension the way it is, you feel every bump, but it's not bad. So on, you just finished them yesterday. So far, so good. You just need to break in the foam a little bit. Yeah, man, very cool. So the material on those. Now, did you have a pair of stock black sports seats before you bought those and kind of compared how that material, because the material looks a lot different in the pictures I've looked at. I'm sure they're nice, but I wonder how they compared as far as how similar they are to the black stock tweed material. Hey, what's going on? 89 GT 5.0. Appreciate you coming and hanging out. We might get a couple of extra folks if Neo wrapped up. I'm not sure if he's done yet or not. So yours rode great. Yeah, they do good on the highway, even with one with that suspension and those bigger wheels and tires. And those tires, they do okay until you hit well, like roads that I live on. He's done. Cool. No real foam on Recaro. So on, it's different, still nice, but now I'm thinking of getting rear upholstery so that it matches. So it's that much different. I was wondering about that, and they are selling that the upholstery sets for the rear as well. But I was curious about that because they look great, but I knew it'd be kind of hard to replicate that factory material that was on those seats. You would like a newer style Recaro? Yeah, I kind of like the Recaros that are in the S550s. Those are pretty nice. Hey, Blue Collar Fox 91, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the sub. Pretty new channel here. I think I've been going now. Well, I started this channel right after Ford takeover this year. So, what I've been going now for almost 6 months. 6 months on this channel. So, I'm going to tell you guys, it's been a whirlwind in the last 6 months. Yeah, you and I talked about that, Nick. It's a little expensive to get the matching rear seat covers. Well, I think that's on more or anything to get those matching, but your seats are pretty custom too, that you're getting them from them. But yeah, guys, it's been a whirlwind. I am I feel like I'm truly blessed, and I never would have thought in a million years that the channel would be doing as good as it is. I thought I could kind of bring something. Actually, Brutal, him and I were talking when I was at Ford Takeover, and he's like, "Man, you got to start a channel." So I kind of asked him some questions about YouTube because I didn't know. I mean, I've never edited a video in my life, and he's like, man, you just got to jump in and do it. So that's what I did. And thanks to your guys' support, the channel has done really well. As of last week, the channel just became monetized. So that's a big deal for anybody that does YouTube. It's absolutely a blessing, and a thank you to you guys because I can't do it without you guys. So, and now that, these bezels, gosh, I would, and I have to thank Nick for that one because Nick challenged me on to do that bezel. It's not something, of course, it's not something that hasn't been done before to relocate the radio to move it up. There was a guy at Midwest Fox Fest a couple of years ago that did his car. He was also a painter, and I really liked how he did it. And it was something I always thought, yeah, that'd be really nice to do one of these days, but just wasn't front of mind. And Nick, when I was building his car, he really pushed me to say, "Come on, man. You know, he'll tell you I didn't even want to mess with it. I almost told him, hey, it's going to cost you more than you want to spend for me to make a one-off trim bezel on your car." And he pushed me, and I went ahead and did it, and it turned out great. And there was so much attention on that video when I did the reveal on his car of putting that trim bezel in there. I decided to go ahead and figure out how to make them to where I could replicate them and replicate them efficiently and to where the quality would be good. And guys, I'm going to tell you, I thought I would sell 20 or 30 of them. I honestly thought I would sell 20 or 30 of them. I thought I was hopefully just get paid back for my time to make those jigs and everything I had to make to replicate them. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, I think I've sold over 300 of them now. It gave me the realization that it could help me get something that I've always wanted. So if you've watched that video, there is something that I've wanted for a good little while. It's another car that we'll bring to the channel, and we have made strides with the profits on those trim bezels, and those things are still selling. I'm telling you, my wife just keeps on shaking her head, and she's the one that packages almost all of them, drops them off at the post office. We're on first name basis with our little local post office here that she drops by on the way to work every morning, bringing a box full of trim bezels to ship out. But guys, I'm going to be able to add another car once I find the right one to the channel, and that's going to be a pretty cool deal. It'd be a pretty cool day that I get to do that. So and I couldn't have done it without everybody's support on here, without Nick pushing me to do it, and then pushing me to actually sell those things. And heck, I've got Matt, which you guys have seen in a couple of videos. He's always pushing me to, out there. Gosh, Matt's out there on Facebook every time anybody mentions anything about whether it be restoring quarter window trim or doing anything to your Fox body that he knows I've done a video on. He's out there sharing my videos, out there saying, hey, go check out 417 Fox. So guys, I'm gonna tell you, it's very humbling to see the amount of support that you'll get from good friends and people that I didn't even know before this, and like Sean with G Funk Express. I love his channel, and if you guys aren't watching his channel, you need to go check him out. Like Walrus 427, all this Fox body community is a lot of guys that just really support themselves, and the amount of call outs that Brutal has given my channel, that's been a big, he's really lifted my channel up. So and it's really cool, man. It's just, I just want to say thank you. So I'll get back to some of these comments because as you guys know, I can talk. So Nick said they said it was going to be the same price regardless of style for a Fox. Wow, I remember you telling me how much that was. That was expensive. So G-Funk, Sean, you're saying that well, let me make sure. I want to go back. I don't want to miss anybody's stuff here. Oh, so Green Fox 363, just follow it. Just started following. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate the new subscriber. Welcome. Hopefully my stuff can give you some enjoyment, some entertainment, and also some useful information. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, I'm just like you. I figure this stuff out as I go, and I use YouTube, and I get on there and I'll watch, and I'm very analytical, and I'll watch stuff from 10 different people and kind of find out the best way to do things myself. So Blue Collar says, nice. He says he saw my video on the quarter window restore. What are your thoughts on a rubberized coating? I don't know, man. I've seen some guys kind of do that before, spraying that rubberized coating. The only thing that I would say that I would guard against on a rubberized coating is I'm not sure how smooth you could get it. I'm just not sure what the finish would look like. I mean, the way I did it is a flexible type of filler that you can use on, flexible like urethane bumpers and such like that. and it turned out really well. Nick can tell you he's seen the car in person. That's his car. They turned, I mean, they're not perfect, but they turned out really, really well. But it is a lot of work. So, and G-Funk's saying he's torn. We've had an upholstery area in shop and want to redo to leather with stock stitching, but you like the S197 seats in a Fox. Yeah, man, I like those seats too. I do. But I'll tell you, the car that I had before this one was a 93 Cobra clone that I had put S550 seats in. And it was a black interior car. Of course, it got totaled 3 weeks after I finished the car. And luckily, me and my daughters weren't killed in that wreck. But those seats, I mean, in the 3 weeks that I got to enjoy them in that car, I've already got another set of S550 seats sitting out here in the shop, and also have black upholstery already ready for them. But my problem is I just can't take these perfect seats out of my car to put them in. So I don't know, man. So 89 GT is saying he's going to go big with the Maxim Motorsports coilover kit with the Blistines. Anyone running these? Yeah, if anybody's running those, let him know, because the only thing I'm assuming you're talking about doing that front and rear. Of course, there's a lot more work on the rear than it is the front, but I know with that front kit, if you're running coilovers, that can limit the width of your front rims that you can run without, and especially if it's lowered, like you're going to want to do. I'm thinking you run the risk of, if you're going with the wider rim, maybe like wider than 8 inches, it can rub. I think Nick's looked into that. I know he can pipe up here in a minute. Trying to catch up, guys. So G-Funk, you're very welcome, sir. It is absolutely awesome to get here that quick. But buddy, I'm gonna tell you, man, you're doing a great job, and I know you've been at it for a long time. You're consistent, and you're funny, and the stuff that you're putting out is good. So I think it's just going to take one of those, gosh, there's some guys out there that did one video, and that one video, boom, put them over the top. And G-Funk saying a 69 Mach 1. I'm going to say I do love a 69 Mach 1. And if I happen to run across the 69 Mach 1 or 70, now 69 is my favorite G-Funk. If I run across the 69 Mach 1, hey, we're just going to say something might have to happen. But the problem is I can't afford a 69 Mach 1, and not one that I wouldn't have to build from the bottom up, especially on bezel sales, because 300 bezels, if you do the math, even if I got a really good profit margin, does not buy, it might buy a shell of a 69 Mach 1. David, you need to buy one of them trim panels to move. Heck yeah, man. You can message me on 417 Fox. I've got them on eBay. I get to make a little more money if you buy them from me direct, because I don't have to pay all the eBay 10%. But man, it's up to you, buddy. But if you'll message me on here on Facebook on 417 Fox, I answer there. Or you can hit me up with a DM on Instagram, and I'll get you fixed up. So Nick said he did a lot of whining, but get to hear him tell me how I was right on a weekly basis. So, Nick's saying, by the way, shout out to G-Funk Express. He is a new subscriber. Thank you, Nick. He's a good dude, man. He is. I'm gonna tell you, he is. Some of these guys make me want to be better, because I'll watch, because they're, just like Gearhead 704, he'll get on there and make sure he's commenting on all my videos, and G-Funk does the same thing. And I'm sitting here and I feel like I'm slacking, because I'll get on there and I'll be a few days late and I'm like, man, I feel bad. So Green Fox 363, you have the maximal coilover, but with Coney, and I've got Coney orange on my car. 18 by 9 in the front. Hey, so that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. And you don't have any rubbing on the spring, Green Fox. 89 GT running a 17 by 9 Cobra R wheel. Cool. So you looked up the TMI quote, $878 for rear seat covers. Man, that does seem like a lot for just, because then you got to think, either you got to do all the work to get those things put on there, and that's just not like, I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it yourself, but I think I talked to Nick about this. When it comes to something like that, I'd almost just rather take it to an upholstery shop. That way I know it's getting stretched right, with a hog. I think those are held on with hog rings. So if you don't already have the tools, you're going to have to buy the tools. Every Fox should have a trim pedal now. Nick, we hadn't even scratched the surface, man. We have not even scratched the surface. Oh, you had to use an 1/8 inch spacer. Okay. So that's what I was thinking. I thought if you ran like a 9-inch rim, you really had to make sure you had a tire that didn't really stick out past that either. So you had to go with a little bit more of like a 245 or something on your tire width, or you'll be rubbing. So you did the 89 GT. So if you get Corbeau seats, but I wonder how well those would match that material though. So Juan bought the new LMR seats, the black sports seats, and of course he also has an original black tweed interior, but the original material does not match very well. Now he's not digging on LMR for the seat quality. It's just the material doesn't match that great, so he's wanting to get the seat covers. Black mirror suede. I bet those are sharp, man. I bet black micro suede. I bet those are sharp, man. For $878, just going to go with the rear seat delete. Yeah, that's great since you got that brand new hatch carpet that I have to be sit to the side. So Green Fox is running a 255 35 18 front and a 305 35 18 rear. Woo, we had a little bit of a trouble with so on Nick's car, on the two-tone Cobra Clone that I built, I rolled those fenders really, really well on that car. And we put those are 10-inch wide wheels on the back. And Nick, aren't those 295? Are they 295 35s? And he got the car kind of when he was backing it out of my shop, kind of got in a really odd angle, and it rubbed pretty hard on that fender lip. Automotive Addiction. He has 17-inch on the front, and they rub a tad. 18 on the rear, both low pro. Can't remember what size they are. And Nick says yes, 295s. All right, you got to work early. Yeah, you got to get up at like 3 or 4 a.m., don't you, Sean? I appreciate you coming hanging out, man. I really do. You guys, I don't do this for probably more than an hour, because that's about all I can stand to listen to myself talk. You have a good night, my man. So yeah, guys, those bezel sales, man, they have done way better than I would have ever expected, and it's been a blessing to me and my family. And we were, we've been blessed to where I wouldn't say that it was a blessing as far as we needed to pay the bills or anything, but when I told my wife, like, hey, we have a little extra money, and it was kind of cool tonight. She came in and said, Michael, she said, I really been thinking about, I want to give some money to some. Uh, I thought she said to the girls, to my 2 daughters, and I have an older son too. You guys have seen on video, and I thought she said to the girls, what for? Because my girls don't need any money. And she said no, to a girl, and a girl at work that she was wanting to be able to give some money to, and I was like, okay, no problem. How much you want to give? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, fine to me. Now, if you'd have reversed that a year ago, I probably would have said, yeah, babe, we don't probably need to be giving that kind of money out. But like I said, it's been a blessing, and didn't bat an eye when she said she wanted to give away some money to somebody during this time of year that could absolutely use it. Hey, Trunk Back Jim. I like that. I'm assuming you're a notch guy. So, am I going to reframe the 4-door with something when you're done with the 2-door? Man, the plan right now is with the 2-door to 4-door car is I'm probably either just going to part the good stuff out of the 4-door, or just part that stuff out to kind of put the money back into the two-door car on total cost savings, because this is absolutely going to be a budget build. Or I thought about just throwing it on the frame that's on the two-door right now and sending it as a whole, complete down the line to somebody else. Because I mean, it's a good car. It's just got a lot of rust holes, which you kind of expect on those cars. So the car's not worth a lot. And I'm going to pick and choose all the stuff that I want to keep off of it that I will need on the two-door 57. So guys, if you didn't know, and I'm, not everybody watches all my videos, I don't expect you to, but I'm in the middle of working on a 57 Chevy Bel Air build right now. And it's I've got a four-door donor car that's got a good drivetrain, good frame, good motor, good everything there. Had a lot of good new parts on it. And I've got a good body of a two-door post car that I'm going to kind of take all that stuff that I need and put it on the two-door car to kind of make two into one. And kind of what got me started on that is because some idiot on the two-door car clipped a later model Camaro or Trans Am front subframe. And so you can get your better, independent, you get your better suspension and your better steering box, get your front disc brakes and all that. But they did not do it square, and I just didn't want to mess with trying to cut all that apart. I'm not equipped to do that here in my shop and make sure I get it straight. So anyway, long and the short is I'm going to send that thing either down the line as a whole, or it just depends on what will be the best way that can get reinvested into the two-door car to kind of keep the cost on that build down, as to part out all the good pieces off of it. So Green Fox, find me on Facebook. Yep, he's all over Facebook. You can't. Steve's little Facebook profile, I think, says is from his trunk on his Fairmont that says Bullet. Nick 50 says, I expect everyone to watch all of his videos. Well, thank you for that, Nick. So Jason V said he just did the Trick Flow HCI, just waiting on the throttle body and EGR spacer because he had a Cobra intake. And you got 308 gears, 5-speed, 373s, or 410s. Well, guy, I'm going to tell you, definitely the three. I'm not a fan of 410s, not unless you're running an automatic, and not unless you're just wanting to run an eighth mile. I'm just not a fan of 410s because you're going to be running at 3,000 RPMs if you're trying to run at any kind of highway speed. So 373s or 355s, in my opinion, for just a normal street car. And especially if you're going to ever do anything above and beyond that, if you ever boost or supercharge that car, those 373s, you're going to run out of RPMs really, really fast with a 5-speed and 373. So, but yeah, that's why 89 GT is asking if you're going to do boost, because that's going to make a big difference on what gears you'd want to do. Yep, I'm with you, 89 GT. 355s or 373s are really good gears. It really is going to liven the car up. And so my car has 355s in it. The two-tone Cobra Clone actually has 373s in it. And there is a noticeable difference, but I wouldn't say you can't go run 373s on, Nick will tell you, he run his car at 80 miles an hour with 373s in it on the highway. But it really will liven up a car, especially with a car that doesn't have a ton of stuff done to it. Let me answer that. After a 6-hour road trip, 373s are too much for cruising at 80. Yeah. 355s, it just depends on what you want to do for your car. If you're going to just put it around town and have some fun with it and want the most bang for your buck out of getting the lower gear ratio for the better seat of the pants performance, I mean, yeah, you can do 410s if you don't plan on getting it out on the highway. So yeah, House, I think when I'm doing about 75, my 355s, 75 to 80, I'm running maybe 2,400 RPMs, something like that. Stevie Miller, I'm sorry, so Green Fox doesn't have Facebook. There's a lot of folks don't have Facebook anymore. And I'm going to tell you guys about, I don't want to get political on here because that's not what this is about, but I can see why a lot of folks have gotten off of Facebook. I'm probably, I'm too selfish for the things that I like on Facebook because I'm a little bit addicted to certain things like Marketplace. to not do Facebook. So Jason is saying he plans on no plan to boost, but you'll probably do 373s, just a weekend toy. Yeah, I mean that's a good choice, man. That's a good choice. What's Facebook? So Green Fox runs 355s with a T5 and a boosted 363. Yeah, and I mean that's probably a pretty decent little gear, gear ratio for you, where you still got enough RPM band to go through the gears, and I bet it's a ton of fun. But I bet there's times where you think you might would have rather have like a 327 though. So 89 GT says he's antisocial and anti-social media. Man, I can't blame you there. There's a lot of, there's times I think about when I think about the time I spend on social media when I could be doing something a little bit more productive. But there's probably people that have other vices, whether it be other things that aren't social media that they spend time on that, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I ain't digging on nobody that doesn't do my social media because I don't blame you for the folks who don't. I do bust on Matt Kinsey quite a bit for not doing Instagram though, because I just got to give him crap for it for anything because he's just a couple of years older than me, and I call him an old fart for not doing Instagram. Hey, appreciate you coming and hanging out tonight, Ryan. And I know we will see each other here pretty soon because Ryan's going to be, we're actually going to feature Ryan's car on my channel here pretty soon. That Ryan is Aiden's dad. And you guys will see his car pretty soon. Matter of fact, Foxcast, Caleb called out his car on an Instagram post recently. So it's a very nice car. It's definitely been a budget build, but a super nice budget build that we can all relate to have a nice cruiser. So you guys will see that coming up pretty soon. But appreciate you stopping by, Ryan, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon this week. So Juan doesn't do social media either. I can't blame you, man. I think we all get, and I'm probably one that if it wasn't for my wife kind of holding me back because I have strong opinions about certain things, but I've learned that it's best just to keep my mouth shut and I have to live by the motto, I don't have to agree with you, but I can still like you. You know what I mean? And I wish that was like that on all political and social spectrum is that, man, I can disagree 100% with how you view about social or political issues, but that doesn't mean that I don't like you. And I wish that was that way across the board. So Nate, hey, I appreciate you coming and hanging out, my man. Planning on getting one of my double din adapters soon. I appreciate that, man. Those things have just, again, as you guys have heard me say it, they have been a blessing, an absolute blessing. 89 GT said his wife asked last night when I will be done with the Fox. She laughed when I said we're never done. That is never a more true spoken word right there, buddy. That is never a more true spoken word. Can you go over how to repair a chipped paint bumper or spat? Oh, well, that one is it depends on if it's single stage or clear coat. That's one thing. I'll tell you one guy that you probably want to go watch, and he has a really, really good chip repair video, and that may be something I ought to do a video on. Is Kevin Tate's TEDT? He does a lot of Eastwood videos, but if you can get like a what do you think a bumper bite for bumper covers? It's good. It's a little gummy. I used it on quarter window, and I have used it on flexible bumpers. It does stay flexible. I know some folks like to use dolphin glaze, but the bumper bite is more flexible than that. But for chips, man, best thing to do is get some touch-up paint. If it's a clear coat, it's best to go ahead and get like a small amount of base coat, clear coat mixed up at like a local actual paint shop. Don't go buy. I'm not saying go buy the stuff off the shelf at AutoZone. And if you scuff that little area up, clean it up really good with some wax and grease remover, and take your time where you'll drip that clear, your base coat in there, and get a couple of coats of that in there, make sure it's smooth. And if you put your clear on top of that and you sand that all smooth and then polish it out, it's not very noticeable at all. So Green Fox said it's a fun car, maxed out Vortex R3 SI trim on that 363. So what kind of horsepower are you putting down, Green Fox? What are we talking, like 600 horsepower or so? House thrill, never done. Just have to say, that is right, man. You are never done. Just have to save money for the next pod. So guys, my problem with my car, and I've talked to Nick about this, who's on here, is that I want to do more on my car, but it is awfully fun, and there's nothing wrong with it the way it is right now. It's not super fast, but it's fun, and I can get in it and drive 8 hours if I want to. So I'm like, if I do, and on one hand, I'm like, if I'm going to do anything to my car and make it go faster, I still want it to be very reliable. Or if I want to drive it as far as I want to drive it, it'll go. It'll probably be a Coyote swap. But my problem is I have trouble busting out $10,000 to $12,000 to Coyote swap my car. Hey, 89 GT, appreciate you stopping by, my man. We're about to wrap it up here myself anyway. Guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up on the video. Again, I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for the support that you guys have given this channel in the short amount of time that this channel has been live. For less than 6 months, right after Ford takeover, I went and bought all the stuff. Well, I went and bought a GoPro and went and bought this laptop and stuff that's back here to do my YouTube with. DK says, stay push rod. I love push rod. I do. But I'm like, what do I do to make it faster? Yes, I will be there again, buddy. Nate Madeline, yes, if I'm going to be at Ford Takeover next year. I don't think I'll make it down to Brutal's Ford Takeover because he's like 12 or 14 hours from here. But I will make it over to Jackson because, see, guys, Jackson is not very far from where I grew up. It's only about an hour and a half from where I am from originally. So it gives me a good opportunity to go through there and see some family in my hometown and then head on over to Jackson, Tennessee to go hang out at Ford Takeover. But I will absolutely, not unless something comes up that's outside of my control, I am 100% planning on being there next year again. Oh, it's Brutal. Brutal's doing he must have started it. They started live. Oh, you didn't realize Brutal was doing one also. No. Yeah, well, it's not finalized yet, but he and Caleb are partnering up and trying to do 2 Ford takeovers next year. And Brutal is talking about doing his next November down by where he's at, which is down in the Dolphin, Ashford, Alabama area. Hey, Sweetie Sugar, I know you're always commenting on the videos. Really appreciate all the support. He says, great channel of the Double Den. That's genius. So, yeah, the T-shirts, I did have some on the eBay. We've sold some, and the hats have sold. I've got to make another order, but that really YouTube doesn't allow you put your hats and T-shirts till you reach a certain subscriber count that I'm nowhere close to, where you could just get it through, like, the YouTube link. But I do have a local supplier I buy my stuff from, like these hats and stuff that I get made up. Another one of my hats over here. But I've got to make another order, and I really, the only way I know how to sell them other than me setting up a website, and that's just one more thing I don't have time to mess with, is setting up a website, is eBay. I think I only have like 1 or 2 hats left on eBay right now. You're going to Carlisle. So you're close to Pennsylvania, DK, huh? So house throw has to put a Godzilla in it. Man, I am too cheap to put a Godzilla in my car. Why do you think I guys do? Why do you think I do all the DIY stuff? Is um, because I'm too cheap to pay somebody to do something I think I can do myself. That is the God honest truth. My dad was always one that said, Michael, why pay somebody to do something you can do yourself or figure out how to do yourself? So that's my mantra in a lot of ways. I'm going to figure it out, man. And YouTube sure helps out a lot with that. So DK says he is in New Hampshire. How far are you from Derry? Or is it Derry? But you guys can't say Derry. You say Derry. It's Derry. I've got a good buddy that's up in Derry. No, I'm sorry. He can't say his R's, so I give him crap a lot from you guys up in that area that don't say R's when you talk. But I'm as Southern as can be, though, from where I'm from, close to Memphis, Tennessee, and a lot, and it's all in good fun. So I'm not making fun of you guys up there, but my good buddy that lives in Derry, I give him a lot of crap. Dogs are up there playing right at Cape Cod. You're originally well. So Virginia, it depends on Virginia, where you're at in Virginia, on what kind of accent you got, right? Because you could have the Ward Burton accent, or you could. So, but yeah, but guys, I'm going to be wrapping this thing up. Usually, I don't do more than an hour, but again, just for the few folks that have been on here tonight, I want to say a big thank you. The channel, with it now being officially monetized, it's a way that a YouTube creator can get a little bit back when folks watch the ads for these videos, and it's really cool when you guys take the time to watch our content. I know when I kind of learned that about certain YouTubers, I started feeling guilty when I didn't do that, and I was like, man, I got to make sure I'm watching these things because these guys are putting all this time and effort into helping us out, and that's just a way we can give back. So make sure you guys are supporting the Fox Body community all over the place. There's tons of good Fox Body content out there. Make sure you guys are checking out G-Funk Express. That guy needs some love because there's no reason why that guy shouldn't be up over 1,000 subscribers by now. And he's getting there. He's getting close. So if you're not watching him, make sure you're telling your buddy, hey, go check his channel out because he's got some good stuff. And the dude is hilarious. I ain't funny by any means. Want to say Mustang Fox, hey, good evening. Thank you for coming by. Sorry that you're coming in right as we're wrapping things up, but I really appreciate you stopping by. And you'll have to go back and watch the live stream. I think we had a lot of good content tonight. Had a lot of good discussion about the differences between your 87 to 93 cars. And guys, thank you for all of that stuff because I've got a lot of notes right over here in this notepad that I was able to grab some. And Sweet, appreciate you stopping by. I know you've been kind of hanging out since right at the beginning of the channel, and I thank you for that. Really thank you guys. Thank you for all the support that you've given me, and that gives me the motivation to keep doing this and getting out there. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, getting out there and trying to make sure you're recording it and make sure where it's going to be good for you guys to watch. It ain't easy, but it's why we do it, so we can help each other out. Ain't that right, Stupid Fast? Because you know what it's like, buddy. Appreciate you hanging out, man. Y'all have a good one, and I will see you guys on the next one. I don't have a set schedule on these things, but maybe one of these days I'll get a set schedule. So y'all have a good night. We'll see you later.